PC Perspective's coverage of CES 2016 is brought to you by Logitech. See the latest gaming peripherals at gaming.logitech.com. Hey everybody, we are here at Lenovo at CES 2016 looking at a couple of pretty impressive laptops. These are both ThinkPad X1 yoga machines, but they have very similar specifications except for one very important option. I think we'll point out the key difference between these two up front. You can tell if you look at these that the screens are very different, right? So we have your kind of traditional IPS 2560 by 1440 WQHD display on this one, and on this one you probably notice that the colors are quite a bit different. You're looking at very, very deep blacks, very, very vibrant colors. This is actually an OLED screen. As far as I know, is the first OLED screen on a laptop that we've ever seen. And if you've seen smartphones and compared like a traditional smartphone screen to an OLED smartphone screen, you get the same kind of effect of this immediate, a very apparent notification of the differences in the color here, right? Like this is a very different screen. It looks amazing, and it's really truly impressive. The rest of the specifications of the Yoga X1 or the X1 Yoga rather are pretty traditional, right? You get your fantastic Lenovo keyboards, trackpads. You get all of the functionality that you're used to having on ThinkPad style devices. You still have a decent amount of connectivity in terms of USB ports, full-size HDMI, mini display port. All those connectivity options are there. This is also the first, or maybe not the first, but it does have a active stylus here that just kind of slides out of the body, and it works pretty well. I don't have any writing applications up because we wanted to show you the awesomeness of the color on this display. But one of the cool things about this stylus is that it has two power points here, and it has a super capacitor in here, rather than a battery, and it can actually charge for just 15 seconds, and you'll get 2 hours of active usage out of it. So it's actually pretty impressive that way. There are some other differences to point out other than the screen that kind of go along with having the screen differences. One, for example, an advantage is the weight. This is a 3-pound device. This is a 2.8-pound device. Price difference is also there. This starts at $1449. It's a $200 upcharge to get the OLED display. This is $1649. And we also have, what was that last difference that I'm blanking on now? The battery life, right? So we have a 52 watt-hour battery in this model and a 56 watt-hour battery in the OLED display, which is actually to kind of offset some of the power differences of the OLED screen. So even though with a black color, the OLED is much more efficient than your IPS, when you have very bright colors, it actually uses more power. So this is actually from Lenovo rated at 11 hours of battery life, and this one's rated at 9. But really, depending on what you're displaying on the screen, even what color your background is or what applications you're using, you'll see variance in the display power here that I think will be it'll be noteworthy in testing, if nothing else, to kind of see, let's do a whole bunch of tests with a white background versus black background and see what kind of battery life differences we get. Now, in terms of ThinkPad X1, if you don't want either of these displays, if you don't need any of the functionality of the Yoga, the wraparound, the tent mode, we also have the kind of more traditional clamshell style ThinkPad X1 Carbon. This is going to be a very similar device in terms of features and functionality specifications, Skylake processors, NVMe, PCIe SSD option availabilities, more key travel here. It's going to be a little bit less expensive, a little bit lighter. This one I think is down to 2.6 pounds, but you sacrifice a little bit of the Yoga functionality. But for people who are more interested in the clamshell style designs, this is the one for you. I believe both of the clamshell and the Yoga version will be available in January, but if you want the OLED screen, you're going to have to wait until April of this year. Thanks, guys.